Every year I know we gonna go hard. We been that team ever since Bart started. All my cheese heads go pack go. Ain't showing no mercy, cutting no slack, no. I ain't a bad sport and I'll even wish you good luck. Only thing I will.
All right. Welcome to Lombardi's Legends podcast. Dane here with Wags. And today, folks, we have an insanely special guest. You got it. You heard it here first. Henry Pearson, fullback for the Green Bay Packers. Henry, welcome to Lombardi's Legends podcast. Thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you guys very much for having me on here. Very excited to be here.
Oh, man, we are hyped to have you on, man. And we got to ask you, you're new to the team. Just after this last draft, you come in here in 2023. So, Henry, I got the first question for you. How does it feel to be a Green Bay Packer?
Making dreams come true, man. It was really, there's nothing else like it. You know, playing in high school is cool, playing in college is cool, but man, it's maybe having the chance to possibly play in Lambeau Field one day. I mean, there's no greater feeling, no greater dream come true than this right now.
For sure. And Henry, we're going to get into the on-field discussion and your background as a football player in a moment. But first, I think we'd just like to know, what was the process? You go undrafted out of Appalachian State. And so were there other teams that were inquiring? What was the process that really led you to signing with Green Bay? And was it a little bit hectic kind of as the draft is wrapping up, or did you have pretty good indication that that's where you were going to end up?
For those couple weeks prior, I'd been talking to a couple different teams, you know, doing Zoom calls, doing everything like that. Obviously not as great of interest as some of the other guys that, you know, get to go on visits that, you know, are really, really talking to, you know, head coaches, everything like that. My process is more so with scouts, position coaches, possibly everything like that. And then the Packers more so came in that last week. You know, it was the first guy I talked to was Byron Storr, the assistant special teams coach. And we kind of just talked, and I mean, he gave me some great insight into the process, and it really was like it was to talk about how Green Bay is interested, but he gave me just, you know, the thought process of how I should be thinking, because he too himself was a fullback and came out undrafted and just basically had the same process as me. You know, just had one team really call on draft day with an actual, you know, to be signed anywhere, and just had a great conversation there. So honestly, when it came down to it and talking to other coaches, Coach Dunn, Coach Sermon, I was just, you know, I knew the Packers was the best opportunity for me.
So it's interesting. So you play tight end in college, and you know, we sign you, the Packers sign you, and you're listed as a fullback. Was that something that you had anticipated coming out of school that you might be? I mean, the fullback is not a position that every team necessarily utilizes the same degree as even 10 years ago. But the Packers are one that have traditionally had one at times throughout the course of, you know, the last 20 years. So is that something that was a surprise to you when they called, or is that something you maybe had been mentally preparing for?
No, that I'd definitely been preparing for it. I mean, that's what I wanted to be labeled as. Honestly, that's what I would like to have been labeled as in college, but the coaches in college refused to give me a handoff. So I think that's the determining factors. If you ever take a handoff, you're fullback, but if you don't ever get a handoff, you're just a short tight end. So I kind of got the short end of the stick there. But no, I plan to be labeled as a fullback, and figured I had more movement within the league there, because you can a hybrid fullback if you will, you know, like a Kyle Juszczyk-esque.
And I've got go ahead, Wags.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I'm excited here to talk about a fullback, Henry. So we're very excited. We are very pro fullback here at Lombardi's Legends podcast. So at Appalachian State, is that something where, did you play in the backfield much? Do you have a lot of experience doing that? Okay. And I was kind of curious. That was something coming in, I was curious about. I've seen limited tape with you, but I've seen enough, right? And I was just wondering, is that something you're used to, being a lead blocker, coming out of the backfield, or if you're mostly in line?
Yeah, no, it definitely. I mean, in college, you got to do everything. So I definitely was in line a little bit, doing everything there. But for probably 70% of the offense, 60% of the offense, I'd say that I was in the backfield. I was in a wing formation, off the edge, not off the ball. Just kind of being moved all around. But a lot of lead blocking, a lot of ISOs, a lot of, coming off coming off and smacking the backside, what we called it in college, sifting and just taking end man there. But yeah, definitely a lot of fullback for sure.
Yeah, and you really answered one of the questions I was going to ask you. What exactly was distinguishing about your role that they would label you as a fullback versus a tight end? Because we see that so interchangeably these days, particularly with that H-back position, which the Packers do utilize quite a bit in their
Yeah.
offense. But I think you basically outlined some of the differences there. But I'm more curious too, in terms of that utilization. Then are you anticipating that that they would be giving you some different looks, or maybe you don't quite know yet exactly what they would be doing in terms of some of the formations and some of the personnel packages that would be specifically for that fullback role, because you're the only fullback on the roster right now as it stands. So I'm just really curious about that, because that is something that's unique, and that a lot of times Packers and most teams in the NFL like to use those positions pretty interchangeably. But you're specifically listed as fullback. So I'm just wondering if you have any idea or insight into how much overlap there might be with that tight end group and that H-back position versus how they envision using you in that fullback role.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I plan to, work my way in through whether it's OTAs now and into camp to be able to be used and utilized as I was in college, and kind of more versatile rather than just in the backfield with just my hand down as as a normal fullback, the classic fullback would be. Because I know Josiah DeGuerra, number 81, one of the other tight ends who's about the same size as me, the 6'2", 245, 250 size, does that same kind of thing. So it's kind of working behind him for right now and trying to find out where I fit in there.
See, this is great. So, normally, Henry, we kick it off and we talk about, experiences so far in Green Bay, but we get a tight end on and a fullback on. We're like, damn, we got to just start talking about the details right away. But how was mini camp? How was that so far, and kind of getting integrated into Lambeau Field, into this Green Bay Packer culture?
Oh man, it was very interesting because it was my first time ever in Green Bay, first time meeting these coaches, first time seeing the offense, first time, seeing the other players, first time. I mean, it was all on that first day, and it was just like, here you go, here you go, here you go. And it was an overload definitely in the first day. And then the second day you calm down a little bit. And then the third day you're able to sit back and really, okay, you process a little bit. So it was a shock all in those first couple of days, but I'm happy to be back for this week. And I just got back in town today, and I walked down to the Fox River, and they told me the walleye run is going to start up pretty soon. So hopefully, when we have a couple of days off on the weekends, whatnot, I can go to Cabela's and grab a rod and see if I can catch something.
Yeah, and Henry,
really see what
for
Green
sure.
Bay is all about.
That's right.
Yeah, I was going to say, Henry, we were talking a little bit before we jumped down that your interest in the outdoors with fishing and hunting is definitely a good way to make some friends with the Packer fans. So
Yeah.
if you, I have a feeling that some of them might even give you some tips on some of the hot local spots if you let them know what you're looking for. But
For sure.
yeah, I just kind of curious then, as part of the process, that rookie orientation. I know you guys weren't there for all that long, but any guys that you particularly hit it off with or connected with, as you're all kind of in the same boat, new coming in, trying to learn the ropes in a new environment. Just kind of curious what your impressions there were, if there was anyone that you really connected or hit it off with in terms of some of your fellow teammates.
Yeah, I mean, all of them were great. My locker, I'm locker neighbors with Chuck Filianga, the
Yeah.
American
From
Samoan,
Minnesota. Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
from Minnesota, and we hit it off a little bit, just both being undrafted guys and everything. So talked a little bit about that. But no, everybody was all very cool, whether it was drafted, undrafted. Everybody's down to earth and just we're all the young guys now. We're all ready to work.
Yeah. And so what, going into this and now heading into this next phase, now that rookie mini camp's over, what are your expectations? Are there certain things that you're really looking to focus on now as in your rookie season and I know that's a broad question, but I mean, even from a positional standpoint, making that transition from college to the NFL, best team as far as we're concerned in football, the Packers, are there certain things that you really want to focus on or what's your mentality even heading in here? Now the pads might be coming on sooner than later, at least partially.
I mean, other than just work, and work, it's the more down to the specifics of it. I mean, getting onto every special teams. I mean, plain and simple, as a fullback, especially you have to be on every single special teams. Because some weeks, you might not want to carry the fullback, and it might not be in the game plan. But if he's on all special teams, you got to travel him. So, really, that's my main focus. I've obviously learned the offense, doing everything like that, but making sure I'm working every single week to stay on all the special teams.
Yeah, and just kind of curious, what does that off-season program look like in terms of the strength and conditioning? And is there a particular method or program that you like to follow, or just kind of curious what you do to keep your body ready and what you're focusing on here in the off-season?
Yeah, so I mean, it goes with the team. The team has a whole program, the strength coaches and everything, and kind of you just go with them, and they have all their, whether it's on field or in the weight room training, you just follow for what all that is.
That makes sense. Now, do you have much experience playing special teams in college? Is that something you've done before, or is that something that's a little bit new?
I've done a little bit. I played a little kickoff return, some punt. This past year, I was on punt the whole year, but no, not much, honestly. And
Okay.
that's where it'll be a little bit new because even I played in high school. Everybody plays in high school, but no, I haven't played in a little while.
And you said, just a quick follow up on that. You said that when the Packers, you kind of had about a week out, you got a little bit of a touch from Packers coaching staff. Was that kind of the conversation from that perspective early on? Then was, hey, if you come to Green Bay, we want to get you integrated to our special teams program, or what did that look like?
Yeah, no, I mean, every coach that I talked to for sure said that. They said that's everybody's main focus. I mean, that's what keeps you, makes you have a 2-year career compared to a 7-year career or whatnot. It's the longevity of the league, as well as staying healthy, of course, but to be able to make yourself as versatile as possible, take up as many positions as possible. So that way you can stretch yourself. So, they don't have to, only have 53 men on a roster, only 46 dress. So, to be able to do as many different jobs and, give yourself as much value as possible, that's the biggest thing the coaches are going to look for.
Yeah, and what are your impressions of Coach Bisaccia? I know he led some of the orientation when you guys first came in on Friday, but I'm just
Yeah.
kind of curious because we've heard some amazing things about him, but first impressions, what did you think of Coach B?
Yeah, he's a real New Yorker. He's from Yonkers, he told me. I talked to him a little bit, and I mean, I'm originally from New Jersey, so it's not too far off. I'm about 20 miles, 25 miles from the city and right over there. So, I'm used to the little, how, Midwesterners think, the sharper edges and, the little more aggressive type, but I mean, that's pretty normal. So it was definitely, I'm excited to work with him for sure.
So, how'd you get into hunting and fishing? Forgive my ignorance if it's just it's the promised land in Jersey, but being from Wisconsin, I feel like hunting and fishing's our little corner of the universe. So, how did you
Yeah.
get involved in all that?
Yeah, I had just a dad that never wanted to live in New Jersey, but it's where he grew up and it's where he had to grow up. So, every year we would take a trip down North Carolina where he had a friend actually, and we would go hunting, deer in the fall. We'd go turkey in the spring. Just kind of grew up with that and then fishing all the rivers and ponds and lakes and everything in New Jersey. But I mean, it's, the people like myself up there are few and far in between. It's kind of it's a small community, if you will. Not like
Yeah,
here, of
for
course.
sure. For sure. Henry, just kind of curious. What are some other things about you as a person that you're willing to share that lets us know who you are more than just as a football player?
That's a deep question, honestly. Um, I don't know. It's a good one. Other than the outdoors, I mean, I have a great girlfriend. I have a great family. I have a brother and a sister, mom and dad. My sister, she passed away. So she had actually in New York. She passed away in a bicycle accident. So my mom and dad and I, we worked with this guy who does something called a ghost bike, and it's basically where you take a bike, you paint it all white, and it's kind of a remembrance piece of someone, and brings awareness to the accident. And it's something that we've done work with in the past and plan to do more work with. And I mean, if you could do something in Green Bay with that, and I don't know how many bike accidents there really are in Green Bay, but that's a piece of a charitable work that would always be great to do work with.
We're obviously very sorry to hear that. It sounds like a great cause though. So something I think a lot of our listeners will certainly be looking out for as well. And so I'm not sure if you're going to be surprised by this or not, but um, Lambeau Field, there's a ton of folks that wear green and gold, but there's a fair amount that also wear blaze orange to games,
Mhm.
especially as it gets a little bit colder, because we're going to be
That-
everybody's hunting, everybody's
yeah.
ready to go, and then they get out there. Wags and I think we're at a game with some of our buddies a couple of years ago where dude showed up with his hunting bibs on, and there may or may still had a little bit of deer residue on it. So I think it's very. I think you're going to be feeling pretty cozy there. My question though is. Have you had a chance or have you heard of John Kuhn yet? He's a
Yeah.
longtime fullback. I just didn't know if you all had a chance to connect or touch base at all. Because the reason I say this is the parallels are pretty interesting. John, he was an undrafted guy, but he, originally undrafted, I think it was by Pittsburgh, signed him, but he made his way to Green Bay, ended up having a remarkable career in Green Bay, Super Bowl champion, really kind of a folk hero that we still have here in Green Bay. So I just didn't know if you had a chance to connect with him yet, or if you're planning on doing so, because he might be somebody really cool you guys might vibe with.
I've not talked to him. I thought you just meant have I heard of him, but
Okay,
no.
yeah.
I mean, that would be incredible to talk to him for sure, but no, I'm not. But of course, I know who he is. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and I was wondering that too. Growing up and playing college ball, and saying you want to be listed as a fullback. Were there any fullbacks, dudes that you really admired or how they played the game? And also, second of that, how do you play the game? What can Packer fans expect from Henry Pearson when he's on the football field wearing green and gold?
So the first one in late years, recently, it was more so with Juszczyk, Kyle Juszczyk. I really liked, and I mean, I guess he's more finesse than I would say to myself. I'd say that I'm more of I guess a brute, I guess if you will. I don't want to speak too much of that, but yeah, I try to be pretty aggressive, try to get hands on, try to bang a little bit, and just be aggressive. I mean, just I might not always go the right way, I might not always do the right thing, but I mean, I was always told from a young age, if you're gonna make a mistake, make it a million miles an hour. So that's basically what to expect. Don't expect mistakes, but expect to be moving fast and aggressive.
Yeah, Henry, I'm curious because Dane and I We were not high level football players. We played some high school football. So my highlight might be from sometime around 8th grade. I probably peaked as a football player, if I'm be completely honest with you. But
Yeah.
just kind of curious, is there any signature moments when you look back at your football career? You made it, man. You're in the NFL, right? So like I'm just kind of curious if there's any moments when you're looking back now, and I know I'm sure obviously at the same time you want a long career in the NFL, so you've got a lot in front of you as well. But
Yeah.
any just signature memories or moments from your time as a football player, making your way throughout that journey to where you're at now?
Honestly, playing third, fourth, fifth grade football and just having lifelong friends from there as well. And seeing the guys, that I played with back then still talking to me and supporting me today. I mean, creating lifelong friends, that's all pretty special, as well as high school, of course, and college. I mean, just the relationships and bonds that I've been able to make along the way with great people, great coaches, I can always call up anybody and just talk to them. They can always talk to me, and it's more so deeper than what football is. It's of course it's the game and it's what you love, but I mean it's what it can do for you and what it can bring you and where it can bring you to. I mean, I'm in Green Bay now, so it's the beauty of what's behind it. I think more so than anything.
That's great. I mean, that's a great answer. I love that. Like Wags and I got to know each other through football. A ton of our
Yeah,
friend group that we're still friends with, 25, 30 years later, we all still talk on the regular, and,
yeah.
football kind of brought us together. So that's pretty cool to hear your perspective on that as well. So is there any number 44? Is there any significance to that, or do they hand you a jersey? What does that look like? Because I know that certainly wasn't what you wore in college.
John Riggins. No, it's half eight. I wore 88 in college, half 88. I don't know. It's literally just the blocker, the number they gave me. I walked to the blocker. Oh, 44. All right.
Cool. I
So,
was wondering how that worked. Do you
yeah.
go in, or do they just go, here you go? You're 44 now.
And I'm sure they asked, the people that got drafted and whatnot, but me, they just, hey man, here you go. You're gonna wear this. All right, sounds good. I get to wear something. That's all that matters.
I gotta say, 44 is a quality number, and
But,
I think you should, if you can make your way onto the active game day roster at some point this season, or maybe for the full season, if things work out for you. I think 44 is definitely the number of a player that's got to get a couple handoffs when you're down near the
Yes.
goal
yeah,
line.
right.
I mean, honestly, it's got the right look and feel, and I think it looks really nice in green and gold as well.
For sure.
I want to be mindful of your time, Henry, but I do have to ask, outside of the game, what kind of music are you into? Well, are you much of a music guy? Are you a movie guy? Do you listen to music before game day? Do you listen when you're fishing? Like, what are you into?
Well, I'm really not a huge movie or music guy. It's if I do listen to music, it's old country. It's not too much new country, I guess. A little bit of rock and roll, I guess, and tribute to my dad. But it's just whatever anybody wants to play, I'm okay with.
Cool.
I'm not too particular in that sense.
Yeah, and Henry, it sounds like you're pretty close to your parents. Is that true? Just seeing some of your posts on social media, and your parents have kind of supported you.
Yep.
Now that you're going to be in Green Bay, what's the plan? Are they still going to be up there with you and supporting you throughout that journey, or will that be a little bit more challenging with some additional distance between your home base and Green Bay?
No, I think it'll be all right. I mean, school was far away, and school was all right. They like to come down for the game weeks or game days and whatnot. But other than that, I mean, I got pretty used to not seeing them, for half the year, and only for 15 minutes every week, whatnot. So It's not too bad. Having a little separation isn't always a bad thing.
Are they?
We'll
are
cut
they
that part out,
covering?
Henry. We won't
Yeah.
we'll cut that out so
Sorry
they
about
don't
that.
hear that. All right, no problem. he meant that he's going to miss you too terribly.
Yes,
is I
yeah,
think what he
I'll be
meant to say.
distraught.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wags, what are we missing here, man? I feel like we're getting this awesome paint picture of Henry Pearson, fullback for the Green Bay Packers. I mean, we're so grateful to have you on. Is there anything that we're missing, Wags, that you can think of?
No, man, Henry, we're so appreciative to have you, like Dane said, and really will be very, very interested to watch your journey as you move forward. Best of luck with the rest of the off-season program, and as you
Thank you.
get ready to get into camp, we'll be watching you closely. Can't wait to see you in action out there in camp, and certainly in the preseason as well. Best wishes to you. We'll stay connected and certainly be rooting for you as you move forward in this opportunity that you have.
Thank you guys very much. Really appreciate you guys having me on here.
Yeah, we appreciate you. And before you hop off, can you do us one small favor and just give us a Go Pack Go?
Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go. Henry Pearson, fullback, number 44 for the Green Bay Packers. Thanks so much, man. We appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys. Put cheese on everything.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us, Henry. Have a great night.
Thank you guys. You too.
Yep. Take care.
Every year I know we gonna go hard. We been that team ever since Bart started. All my cheese heads go pack go. Ain't showing no mercy, cutting no slack, no. I ain't a bad sport and I'll even